Here's a Kenmore electric dryer that's actually a Frigidaire who makes it, and I've seen a lot of posts from different people about how one of these dryers, a Frigidaire particularly, as it heats up it gets loud, but only when you're running on a heat setting. So if you're running on air fluff, it will run quietly like you hear it running now, indefinitely, but only when the heat is on does it get loud. So I'm going to pause the video, and when this starts getting loud I'll start it up again, and just kind of give you guys a heads up on what's going on. So I took the top off, and it's only been a couple of minutes, but the dryer is starting to make a humming noise and a little bit of a buzzing noise, and it does get louder than this. So I'm going to pause again. A few more minutes have gone by and it's getting louder. Other than the noise, it's working fine. It's putting out normal amount of heat. If you peek down into the heating element, it's just slightly red. It's not overheating or anything abnormal. But it's starting to hum really loudly and kind of make a high-pitched noise at the same time. So now it's been about 10 minutes and this thing sounds like it's about ready to blow up. Sounds like a bearing in the motor just kind of blowing its mind. Now, just so you can see this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the machine and I'm going to take the cover off back here, and I'm going to disconnect the belt from the drum and start it again while it's still hot, just to show you that the noise is not coming from the bearing back here or anywhere else with the drum. It's definitely coming from the motor area only. Okay, so now the belt is disconnected, and we'll go and start this puppy up again, and you can hear it go crazy. Door's closed. Drum's not turning. Still blowing out good heat. So we can see the problem is nothing to do with the drum itself or the drum bearings. So now it's running really loud, just the fan. I put it on air fluff so that the heating element wouldn't be on. So now that it's been running for a minute or two with no heat, no way to draw that heat through even if the heat was on, the motor and fan have cooled down and are quiet again. So now I'm going to apply some heat with a hairdryer into this fan just to see what happens. So you can hear it's starting to get loud. I'm not doing anything but running the motor on air fluff setting, and I'm using my hair dryer to heat up the fan blower wheel. And it's getting loud. I've only been heating it with the hair dryer for maybe 2 minutes. And it's getting loud. And all I'm doing is heating up the plastic. It's been about 3 minutes now, 4 minutes now. And it is just getting really, really obnoxious. So whatever's going on with this blower wheel, it only gets bad when the dryer heats up. And if I take the heat away, as this thing cools down, it'll quiet down again. Now, as far as I can tell, the blower wheel is not rubbing. It's not rubbing the housing at all, but yet it really gets loud when you warm it up. So the next thing I'm going to do is change this blower wheel out. It's part of the housing. It's a sealed housing the way they put it together. So you actually have to put a socket on there, left-handed threads, turn it to the right to break that loose, and remove the wheel and pull the whole housing off the motor as a unit. So I'm going to replace that and see what kind of results we get. So to remove the wheel, what I've done is I put some vice grips over a towel onto the motor pulley to hold it still, and then just put end on a board in here to keep from putting a dent in the side of the dryer. I put my ratchet on here, found the right size socket, 7/8 to fit on the plastic nut center of this blower, and I already broke it loose, but it was a little bit of a trick. And then you just want to turn it clockwise while you're holding the motor still, and once you get it loose, you can just spin it the rest of the way. So now I'm going to take this blower housing off and put the new one on. There's the new one, and on the back of this motor is held into the housing by a clip that you have to push down in. Once you get it pushed all the way on there, into these two, there's a tab here that goes into the frame, and another one over here. It's kind of hard to see. Once you have that motor seated in there and it's rubber bushing, then you want to push this clip down. And it should really click in. There's a little tab it catches on right there. So make sure you have that down in all the way. And then you can spin your blower wheel on and tighten it. Put the screws and the sensor back in. So now it's all back together again with the new fan and housing. and I'm going to try the hairdryer trick again. Give it a couple minutes and see if it stays quiet. It's been a couple minutes and we're still good and quiet, so give it a couple more, and if we're okay, I think it's time to put it back together. Certainly should have been long enough now, but no noise. I'll turn the hairdryer off. Still quiet. The only thing I can point out is this old one is made out of a different kind of plastic. I'm not sure if they changed the formula or what, but this is a whiter looking plastic, and that's kind of a yellower looking plastic. So did they make an improvement? I don't know. I can't see any reason. None of the fins are broken. When this thing was sitting in the dryer, it wasn't turning off center, wobbling or anything. There don't appear to be any significant cracks around here. So I am really not sure what it is about this fan that was causing that noise, but it certainly was, because it's not now. So we'll put the dryer back together and give it another test for a while and see if it stays quiet. Okay, it's all back together now. We have the heat on high. It's starting to warm up. So let's give it a few minutes and see how it sounds. So there we go. It's been running for 4 or 5 minutes now, and certainly by now it would have made that loud noise. So if you have a Frigidaire, I've read online that a lot of people have this problem and are scratching their heads and have replaced motors and heating elements and idler wheels and the rear bearing, ball bearing back here, and the receiver for the bearing, that kit, and none of it has solved the problem. Well, for this weird one, that's your problem. I have seen it one other time with this fan assembly that heats up, and for whatever reason, that's the culprit right there. Can't see anything wrong with it, but it's definitely the problem. So I hope this video helped some of you out. Like, subscribe, all that. Have a great day.